What's up? It's time. Episode 1, Jarrod Vs Everything. Here we go. We called this episode Jarrod vs Ghosts. And the reason why we did that is because I got together a gang of miscreants, a lot of my friends and family that I love so much. And we stayed the night, most of the night, in the haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells. Now, supposedly, this is the most haunted house in Texas. And the purpose of this video is not to prove that that's true or not, or prove that there's really ghosts there, or prove that they're faking it, or any of that stuff. The purpose of this video and all of these videos is to go somewhere and do something that's scary, to go voluntarily face something that you don't want to do, because it makes the rest of your world a little bit better. And most of what we're going to be doing on these videos are things like skydiving and snake handling, things that you would imagine is directly practical and applicable to your life. So, for example, if I go somewhere super, super high, there's a lot of people who are afraid of heights, then I'm going to be 1% more comfortable at the top of a ladder, right? So, or if I pick up a snake and hold it in my hands, I'm going to be 1% less likely to panic if I come across one out in the woods, things like that. But it's spooky season, and the opportunity came across me to go spend a night in this house. And as you can see from the picture that we opened with, I brought with me my beautiful wife, Ashley, and her hilarious sister, Lauren, and then one of my dearest best friends in the world, Daniel. You could tell from the picture that we're ready to go. We're all really excited. You may not be able to see in the picture, but I had my fanny pack for treats and to pick up clues as we were solving mysteries, and I had my action jorts on in case I need to get into any action. And you also could look at Daniel's face and be unsure if he is or is not a robot with a really advanced prosthetic skin stretched across his cybernetic skeleton. But I don't know, that's just how he smiles, man. But anyway, we had a phenomenal time. Before I talk about how scary it was or what we learned from it and all that stuff, I want to show you guys some footage from inside the house and kind of see what happened. So here we go. So one of the first things that happened when we got in the house is this guy here, Mr. Sonny, and his wife Catherine, gave us a 5-hour tour of the house, and they showed us all the rooms, and they told us who died, and they told us which demons and ghosts haunted the house, and which items were cursed, and where certain cool activities happened, and all that was phenomenal. One of the things that happened here is Sonny took about 20 minutes to show us several dozen pieces of fancy equipment like EMF readers and thermal cameras, if we were so inclined to use that. Now, we weren't interested in that. We just wanted to get in the house in the dark and have something spooky jump out at us and scare us. But we highly recommend you come into this place if you're the kind of person who wants to do some serious investigating of the paranormal and the supernatural. Even though we didn't experiment with it, he showed us how a lot of it worked, and it was super cool. Now, the next thing that's about to pop up right now, one of those items they told us about was this book, this cursed book, and it was given to the house by a priest who performed an exorcism, and there's a video of a woman looking at this book and having a seizure, and they showed us that video, and it was pretty crazy. As you can see, my dear best friend Daniel decided he was going to get the book out and read it and, disrespect it and kind of call the ghosts out. But I'm just going to let this play in a second and show you what he decided to do to kind of win the ghost's attention.
Okay. I'm now going to sit on this cursed book.
Sit on it and we'll
Makes me very uncomfortable.
I'm going to let some of this footage of Daniel and I exploring the house play while I describe a little bit to you of what we learned about the history of the house and a lot of the spooky stuff that was happening inside the house. So from what I understand, the house was built in the late 1800s. And since then, everything that could happen, that you'd want to happen to a haunted house, has happened to this place. We're talking bootlegging. We're talking prostitution. We're talking about unwanted pregnancies. We're talking about murders. We're talking about cults and Satanists and Ouija boards and scared dolls and hidden caches of gold hidden in all the places. Anything that you might want to happen has happened in here. But the juiciest stuff that I can remember was one of these guys operating the brothel at the time. You know, employing the prostitutes in this house. He has had an illegitimate child with one of the prostitutes inside the house. And this poor thing was born with all kinds of deformities and an elongated head and webbed fingers. And they made him hide in these little pathways behind the walls in the house that they would take us in and show it. And it's like his little shame rooms that he would have to go hide in. And occasionally he's popped up in pictures here and there. And him and his mother were unfortunately killed, I believe, by that same man over some fight or something in the house. But you know, from the sounds of it, there's a lot of stuff that's happened inside this house. And if I were to remember a lot of the things that they described having happened in the house, they had a list several pages long for every room. And a couple of the highlights for us is there was a doll, that the spirit inside the doll wants to burn the house down, and she caused a toaster to act up. That was pretty fun. There was a woman in one of these rooms that was bad-mouthing the demon in the house, who supposedly his name is Toby. She was bad-mouthing Toby, and something grabs her ankle and just yanks her right out of the bed. And we saw a video of a woman holding a flashlight in one of the rooms upstairs, and the flashlight gets ripped out of her hand at a weird angle. It doesn't look like it fell. And as we were exploring, the most interesting thing that was happening is they had this box called a spirit box that I didn't really know about, but supposedly it scans radio frequencies in a hertz range lower than what you'd get on an AM/FM radio, listening for any voices that may be speaking. I swear to God, man, this thing talked every 3 minutes pretty regularly. So the activity that was occurring was essentially constant, and it did seem to respond to us as we moved through the house, and it did seem to answer questions that were asked, and it did seem to say creepy things like Satan or names of people that had died in the house. It was all pretty spooky. And as they gave us this tour, this thing would talk to them during the tour and kind of respond to them as they were moving through the house. It was very entertaining. If it was real, it changes everything. And if it wasn't, they did a really good job putting all this together. So the next thing that I'm going to show you, as it turns out, after they finished the tour and they told us about all this creepy stuff that happened in the house, they got out some pictures and some videos that they had taken inside the house of some really creepy things. And I didn't want to like disrespect them and take a bunch of this footage that they did and share it to everybody. I'm sure they want you to go check it out for yourself, but there is one photo that they had included in the packet with the waiver that they gave us, and I inferred that meant that I could take a picture of it and share it. So here, let me show that to you real quick. So this picture was taken inside the house, and was pictured as some woman exploring the house. This is upstairs where a lot of the spookiest stuff supposedly happened. Pictured in the picture to the woman's right is a head and a face and some claws peering around the corner. I'm about to zoom in on it for a couple seconds so you can see it better. This was definitely one of my favorite things that I saw all night. Oh my gosh, isn't he so handsome? Look at his eyes and his teeth sticking around there. That is just crazy. I cannot believe that, man. All in all, it was an awesome experience. So they give away a little. Well, they don't give away. You can buy a T-shirt that says "I survived the haunted Hill House" if you stayed in the house all night. But unfortunately, after the tour ended, during the period of time when Daniel and I were exploring the house, my wife began experiencing what she called an overwhelming sense of dread. And She associated it with one particular little chunk in the living room right next to the piano. And I don't remember Kathy saying anything really spooky happening there, but she put her little foot down and she let us know that she was done and she was not going to stay in the house any longer. And that was around 3 a.m. when that happened. Well, it was around 3 a.m. when I got a hold of a hotel on the phone and told them we were going to need to come stay. And we let Sonny know that we weren't going to stay the whole night. So he came to take our picture and lock up so no hoodlums or monsters or skinwalkers could come in the house after. So we cannot say that we survived the night at the haunted house. We were not brave enough to stay the night. But here's what I will say. As far as I'm concerned, we voluntarily went to the scariest haunted house in Texas. And that's not nothing. And my goal is next time I have a bad spooky dream or get spooked by the dark, I want to feel just 1% more comfortable knowing that if I can handle the scariest, most haunted house in Texas, I can probably handle my bedroom. That's the goal. It's a scary world out there, but fortunately, I am mighty. We're got a lot more of these coming up. The next video that we're going to do is a little bit more easy when we're going to do a food challenge. We're going to do a mukbang type thing. And there is some thinking here on why I'm doing that and the fear that I'm trying to overcome for myself and for other people. But it's also just an excuse for me to eat a whole bunch of food. I really want to do that. And if I can get it on camera and share it, then that's all the better. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had a lot of fun. Please do me a favor and comment and tell me, what are you afraid of? What would you like to see me go face voluntarily? I've got a list of about 55, 65 things that I'm going to try and get through over the next year and a half. But I want every recommendation you can think of. This is a lot of fun for me, and I can't wait to do a whole lot more with you. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.